I am Jason the Gallantian! Jason the Gallantian! I am Jason the Gallantian! Jason the Gallantian!
Train the muscles, not the joints. You ever had the feeling that you're being hunted? It's kind of a strange feeling. I know it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, there's nothing behind me. I mean, that'd be strange, right? I'm just in my yard. I mean, there's no chance of some sort of wild animal being behind me or something, but yeah, sometimes you just have that feeling. Crazy, right? No biting. No biting. Just had to have a conversation there with my cat. I haven't fed him yet today, so there could be some sort of misunderstanding of where the food is. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about embracing your internal Rocky Balboa. All right? Because there's so many times in your training where everything's going good, everything's going great, and then you get sidetracked. So I had a couple people comment that they just got out of surgery or to the hospital, or maybe they got the flu for a period of time, and they notice that they lost some of their gains, and then they're discouraged, and they're like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get big again, or get my muscles back, or how am I going to get lean again because I got a little bit fatter after taking a break from my nutritional program. But the thing is that you got a long life ahead of you. I mean, hopefully. Hopefully. And the thing is, there's going to be lots of different times in your life where your body will go through certain changes. Sometimes there'll be different priorities that happen in your life. But it doesn't mean you should give up on hope, right? And one story is myself. Like when I herniated a disc in my back when I was around 19 years old, and the doctor told me I'd never be able to squat again, I'd never be able to lift weights again, I should wear a back brace for the rest of my life, all this kind of stuff. I found a way to rehabilitate my back, and I started squatting again, and I got to squatting quite a bit of weight, well over 500 pounds per rep. So the fact is that you can still train. It's just that you have to pay attention to the body now, and as long as you pay attention, your body will slowly start to recuperate. So sometimes you might need to make a dietary change, sometimes you might need to make a lifestyle change, sometimes you need to train a little bit differently, even if it contradicts a lot of the people around you. You know, what they're saying. Maybe they're saying to you that you have to do a certain type of exercise form or a certain type of program, or you need to train a certain way, and that type of training might irritate your joints or maybe irritate your body, and your body's telling you don't train that way. But these people are telling you that you're supposed to train that way in order to be able to get results. If you learn to listen to yourself and find out what your way is, then you will be giving your body a chance to speak to you and giving your body a chance to recuperate and to be even better than ever before. It's almost like you become the horse whisperer, but instead you're like the body whisperer, the Gallantian body whisperer. That almost has a ring to it, the Gallantian body whisperer. Whispering to your body. So yeah, become that. Become the bodybuilding body, Gallantian body whisperer, whatever you want to call it, right? Gallantian body whisperer. Don't try to whisper to somebody else's body because that might get you in trouble. But yeah, it's okay to do it to your own. So the fact is that just listening to your body and paying attention, it will help guide you out of whatever predicament you're in or whatever stage that your body is in at this time.
There will be more talky to blabbing my face off later on in the video. Okay? That is all.
As you can see, it's nighttime now. It's nighttime and I'm going to the gym. It's so scary. It's so scary.
All right, let's do this, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. I did some squats at home already, and now I'm gonna do some bench presses and some upper body pumping type stuff. I know that sounds very specific, but yeah, that's how I do it. I'm gonna play around now. Okay. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. I'm pretty pissed off at you guys right now. I'm pretty pissed off at some of you because as Gallantians, you have forgotten that you're a bunch of ass kickers. So remember that. You're an ass kicker, you're a Gallantian. That's it. It's just like automatic. You're an ass kicker. So it doesn't matter what obstacle is before you, somehow you will get over it, around it, or through it. Somehow that will happen. So don't worry about where your training is right now. You will succumb to victory. 225, 225, another set, 225. Yes sir, no sir. My muscles are getting big. Big muscles, big muscles. Big like cool. Yeah. I believe in you. I believe in you. All right. 225, 225, 225. All right.
Another example of this is my father. He had a frozen shoulder for at least 10 years. His arm, he could only bring it up to this and maybe rotate like this. And basically he had a shoulder injury that just basically started to heal wrong and he started getting frozen shoulder. He wasn't bench pressing for at least 10 years. But through time and through a technique that my brother discovered, my brother worked with this doctor in the States and they basically found out how to use this certain technique to break up the adhesions in the shoulder joint. He actually healed my dad's frozen shoulder, and now my dad is doing sets of 245 on the bench at 66 years old. At 66 years old, he's doing sets of 245 for sets of 5 on the bench press, touching his chest and up like powerlifting type technique. So the fact is that because my father can do this after a 10-year layoff with a frozen shoulder and with no hope in sight of ever being able to bench press again, you should take encouragement from this, because the thing is that just because injuries might seem permanent, they're not always as permanent as you might think. Now, of course, there's certain situations, like I know I have a labral tear in my shoulder and I did this from hockey and I dislocated my shoulder, but I can still train. And it's actually quite stable through my shoulder presses, still quite stable through bench presses and everything. Sure, my form has changed slightly, but I can still train and still get a great workout and still stimulate the muscles, right? So sometimes what you think is a massive setback might not be quite as extreme as you might think. So don't let your mind build it up. So the thing is, you can make a comeback no matter what's going on. You can make gains no matter what's going on. And it doesn't matter what age you're at, and it doesn't matter what your situation is. You can take hope in the fact that no matter how hard your life is right now, there's always hope. There's always a healing that can happen in your body in any one moment, as long as you're willing to listen. It's like every individual has their own individual maze that they're in, and some people have to turn right in the maze to get out, and some people have to turn left. But if you dare to listen to your body, if you dare to honor your own experiences and to baby step yourself out of whatever predicament you're in, maybe it's doing some rehabilitation exercises, maybe it's doing lighter weight for a period of time, maybe it's adjusting your range of motion, maybe it's changing programs. If you dare to do this, you can come out on top once again, just like a true Gallantian.
So I'm just getting my pushing movements out of the way first, just doing some chest and then some shoulder presses. I haven't done a lot of these lately, but I just did some last night. I actually did some bench presses yesterday and shoulder presses yesterday, and then today I'm doing it again, but I'm doing a little bit lighter. So yeah, it feels good. Sometimes I like to do things back to back. I get a lot of energy from that. So like I said, I do ultra high frequency and then I'll back off and then take a couple days off or an extra couple days off.
3.
On se stress. 1, 2, 3. Set number 3. Set 3. 3. That's it for that. Let's do something else. I'm gonna do some triceps first, then I'm gonna go to back, because I like to shift the order of body parts up just for fun. And sometimes you get a different type of muscle stimulation from that. So I encourage you to change shit up, even if it doesn't make sense. Just do it for fun. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
2, check 1, 2. Is this thing on? This thing on? Is this microphone on right now? Can you guys hear me? I think you can hear me. All right, good. You hear me? Oh, good. Okay, thanks. Thanks, man. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing here is some triceps now. I fully intended to only do about 3 sets, but because the camera kept on getting me in focus and then not getting me in focus, such as this shot here, this is not even the worst shot, but there was a number of sets where I wasn't even in focus. I had to do some extra sets, and then I started playing around. So I ended up going into about a 9-set type tricep workout. Crazy, right? But that's what I did. And I start doing different angles. So as you notice when I'm doing this press down, it's almost like a press back that I'm doing because I step back from the machine quite a bit because I find that hits more the long head of my tricep. And I don't know, I just feel more tricep activation that way. Sometimes if I step too close to the machine, I start to get more tricep activation, but then at some point I start to actually get more rotator cuff. It starts to feel a little bit awkward for me, but it's just the way I'm built, right? So you're going to notice that depending on how close to the machine that you stand, it will hit different parts of your tricep. So it's good to change this up. It's good to step closer to the machine sometimes and deal with more of a vertical type of force, and then step back and deal with more of a lateral type force. So experiment with this. You'll really like it. And I mean, sometimes I'll do giant sets where I step close to the machine, then I step back from the machine. And sometimes you might find that stepping back and doing your set far back first is better, and then step closer, and then you can extend the set, or vice versa. So yeah, play around with that. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be the best thing you ever did for triceps. So yeah, you're welcome. Now this is one of my favorite tricep exercises. I never know what to call it, but the lunging tricep extension, or the lunging cable overhead tricep extension, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, that's what I call it. I call it a bunch of stuff, but you can see what I'm doing right here. See, there you go. It's actually in one of the workout programs, and I actually have a link to a video where I'm doing this exact exercise, but it's a great one because it keeps the tension on the tricep, and it keeps the tension in the stretch position. And because yeah, if you have a dumbbell over the head, of course, the gravitational force doesn't dissipate, but the way it acts on the joints dissipates. But when you have a cable machine, the tension stays the same all the way throughout the movement. So that's the advantage of using cables at certain times. Man, am I bushed, and I'm only halfway through the workout. Let's take a coffee break. I think that's a good idea. Let's take a coffee break just for a second here, and then we'll get right back at it. I always feel like somebody's watching me at Hemlock Coffee. Wobble shot, wobble shot. Wobble shot. When the owner makes my coffee, there's something special about that. It's like it's personal service at Hemlock Mountain Coffee. See, personal service. This is why people all around the world will come to Hemlock Mountain Coffee to see Travis make their coffee. Even if he does it wrong, it's still valuable in some way. It's like part of the experience. Well, that coffee was good. Now, screw it. Let's get something to eat. Why not, eh? Because you guys don't know where these clips are from. You don't know how many days difference there is between one clip or the next. So let's just pretend I'm going to get something to eat right now. I'm getting something to eat in between sets. There we go. There's Jamie going in there. Notice he doesn't hold the door open for me. Never holds the door. See, if I get him on camera, that means he has to pay. That's the important part about bringing your brother to the restaurant, right? You put him on camera, then he has to pretend that he's a nice guy. If the camera wasn't rolling, he wouldn't be paying. That's just pretty much the point, right? Right. Hydrated. Now that's the Very Peri. Very Peri is pretty spicy, but Jamie went for the Super Peri last time. He's like, I'll just have it mild. And then he went for the Super Peri because he thought it was the same as the Very Peri. And he was breathing hard for about 15 minutes trying to get that shit out of his mouth, so... Yeah, if you're gonna go to Barcelos, don't get the Super Peri if you don't like hot, that's for sure. So that's what I'm eating. My brother gave me a chicken leg. He got an extra chicken leg, but I'm eating just some chicken breast and rice. And some spicy sauce. I have a meal like that 3 or 4 times a day, but not always chicken. I had sushi earlier, or I'll have chicken breast and rice. But yeah, I like to change it up sometimes with spices and things, so Barcelos is actually a pretty decent place to do that with.
Mountain. Mountain.
Yeehaw! Let's get back to the gym now. Oh shit, it was going the wrong way. Now back to the gym. No pun intended. But I'm going to be training some bent over rows here. I'm going to go up to 315. I already did a couple of warm-up sets of 1 plate, and then I'm going to 2 plates here, doing a warm-up set. And then I'm going to do 3 plates and do multiple sets. And yeah, it's kind of a nice change to train a little bit of arms first and get the shoulders out of the way, and then move on to back and biceps.
Big, 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 biggity back. Biggity back. Big, big, biggity back.
Now it's neat to change things up from cable to barbell, and from barbell to cable, or dumbbell to cable, you know, doing free weights to cables. I like changing that. The reason why is because the constant tension does totally change the dynamic and how the muscle contracts and how the tension exerts stimulus on the muscle. So yeah, it's still great to do dumbbells with a preacher curl or a barbell, but you'll notice that at the bottom part of the motion, that's where most of the tension is when you're doing a barbell or dumbbell. Whereas when you come up, that tension diminishes. So with a cable, it stays the same throughout the whole movement. So this is why it's a little bit different, and it's good to do both. It's good to incorporate some cables in your movements once in a while instead of just doing always free weights, right? I did about 3 sets of preacher curls with the cable there, and then I did 1 set of standing preacher curl. And again, this feels totally different. When you're doing a standing movement, of course, your arm is not locked in a certain position, so your elbow can travel forward and back a little bit. So you'll also notice a different type of stimulus on the muscle as well.
Mountain. Mountain.
Just little adjustments can make all the world of difference in what type of result you get. So that's why after this movement, after this final set, I am going to do the standing barbell curl, because that's how you make the mountain. Mountain.
So that concludes my workout. I just did about 3 sets per body part, although I did a little bit more for chest just because I was feeling it. I was just feeling it tonight, right? So I just want to do a little bit more sets. But I already trained legs earlier. I did 4 sets of squats at home in my garage, and then I came to the gym after I had something to eat, and then I came out to do the rest of my workout. So sometimes I do this. Sometimes I notice it takes a lot more effort and motivation for me to do legs. So sometimes I'll do legs as a separate workout. I might just do a low volume short workout, only 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is for legs. And then later on, I'll come back and do upper body, right? So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the workout. If you need to get hold of me, just go to naturallandbodybuilding.com, and thanks a lot to the patient supporters, and take care for now. Bang! And share my stuff. Come on. Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. I mean, if it's not you, it's got to be somebody else. Do you want to put that burden on someone else to share my stuff? Do you really want that to happen to them? Don't let it happen to your friends and family, okay? Share it so that way they don't have to, all right? Okay, cool. My cat's the cameraman right now. CC's doing the camera work. He's a good cameraman. He's been holding it down.
Gallant! Gallant! Gallant!